Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We're learning Mishna Nedarim, Parak Dalid, Mishnah 4, and we are up to Mishnah Vav, Mishnah 6. And today's learning should be a schus refuah shalema for Gavriel ben Etel Gita. Okay, so Mishnah is like this: Hamuda hanamei chaveroi. If a person is not allowed because of a vow to have benefit from his friend, let's just say that the friend said, that you cannot have. Reuben said to Shimon, you cannot have any benefit from my stuff. So now Shimon can't have any benefit from Reuben. So we say like this regarding Shimon, who is the person who may not have benefit from Reuben, lo yashilenu. You cannot lend him anything, nor may you borrow something from him. Now let's think about this for a second. We're talking about the person who is mudar, the person who may not have the benefit. The person who may not have the benefit may not lend something to the person he may not have benefit from, nor may he borrow something from him. Now the idea that he can't borrow something from him makes a lot of sense, right? Because that's called having benefit from him. But if he lends something to that person, what's the problem? He cannot have benefit from that person, but that person can have benefit from him. So why can't you lend him something? The answer is because the sages were afraid that at the end of the day, if you lend something to that person you can't have benefit from, you may come to borrow something from him too. Seems to be just a common thing. If I lend you something, you're going to lend me something. And therefore, and if you let, and so again, if the person who may not have benefit lends something to the person he may not have benefit from, the concern is that, well, the same way you did him a favor, he's going to do you back a favor, which would mean you're breaking your neder because you're having benefit from him that you're not allowed to. And the same thing applies for the other part, for the next parts of the Mishnah. Lo yalvenu, you shouldn't lend him any money. Lo yalvim imenu, nor borrow any money from him. Borrowing money from him would be considered having benefit, direct benefit. That's clearly breaking the vow. Not lending that person you can't have benefit from is, again, it's a precautionary measure that you don't come to borrow from him too. V'lo yimkar lo, nor may you sell him something. Now, this would mean, if I sell you something, clearly, I'm sorry, lo yimkar lo, you shouldn't sell him something. V'lo yikach mimenu, nor should you buy something from him. Now, if you go ahead and you are the person who may not have benefit, and you sell something to that person you can't have benefit from, so, if you sell it to him, right, you're getting money from him, right? That's called benefiting. You can't do that unless you sell it to him at a loss, right? If you sell it to him at a loss, then you're not benefiting. Even so, says the Mishnah, you shouldn't do that. Why? Because of the other part, you can't buy from him. Buying from him is going to be breaking your neder. It's benefiting from him. If you sell to him even at a loss, we're afraid you may come to buy from him. And that you may not do. And therefore, as a precautionary measure, you cannot sell to him either, even at a loss. Next. This is a new case. Omar Loi, a person said to someone else, Hashileni parascha, lend me your cow. Omar Loi, the person responded to him, Ein pnuya, it's not available. So when you hear that his cow is not available, like, you're not always so, trustworthy. Yeah, sure, it's not available. Mm-hmm. And therefore, he angrily reacted and said, Omar, the person who wanted to borrow, then said, Kainam sadi shani chayrish bala. My field is a konam, my field is like a carbon in regard to my ever plowing it with your cow. I don't know what he thought he was getting back at the guy for, but he's basically, in an angry way, he makes an neder. He said that he will never use that person's cow to plow his field. That's the neder that he made. That was his reaction. You're not going to lend me your cow. I create a neder. My field is forbidden ever from ever using your cow to plow the field. He made a neder. He's not going to that the cow. It's usher for him to use the other person's cow to plow his field. Says the Mishnah. If it was his practice to plow the field himself, then hu aser v'chaladim mutarim. He's forbidden, but other people can. I mean, don't forget, he said, I won't, I can't, I forbid myself to use your cow to plow my field. So says the Mishnah, if you do the plowing, then the assumption is that the neder was made for yourself, but not for anybody else. If someone else wanted to use that person's cow to plow your field, the neder didn't include that. Because we assume if you're the person who does the plowing, that you meant the neder to go on you, because you're the person who does the plowing typically. However, but if it's not his way to do the plowing, he himself doesn't usually do the plowing. He gets other people to do it. He hires other people to plow. Then he and everybody are forbidden. If it's not about him specifically, if he doesn't do the plowing specifically, others typically do it, then the net, although the wording of the neder is I won't plow, we understand him to mean I won't have any plowing being done with your cow, because that's typically how it's done. Now we don't say, well, since other people typically do it, it excludes you? No, it for sure includes you, because you said I'm not going to. But the point is that even though you typically don't do it, others do. Because you typically don't do it and others do, we understand your neder to include them also, that no plowing, the neder means no plowing will be done in my field with your cow. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi. Now